In 2014, the Moat of the Tower of London was transformed with the very successful Ceramic Poppies event. This was to commemorate the 100 years since the start of the First World War. Following on from this event, this year they decided to seed the moat with flowers to create a Superbloom event that would have different flowers throughout the year. I first visited in the beginning of July and viewed from the public viewing path above the moat. The moat was full of colour, particularly yellows and blues. In August I visited again, this time walking through the moat. I had been told beforehand that due to the dry hot summer a lot of the plants had gone to seed, so my expectations were not too high. From the public viewing area it was clear to see some empty patches with no colour. You enter the moat via a specific walkway that leads down to the tower gate. This brings you out into the bottom corner of the moat. Normally you have the option to slide down into the moat, but this was closed due to the heat. Once inside, the patches were not so noticeable, and there were plenty of colourful plants to see. Halfway round there was The Music for Growing Flowers, a composition by Erland Cooper, which had speakers amongst the plants. At the corner of the moat was The Nest, a willow sculpture by Spencer Jenkins. This frames some of the local buildings really well. Towards the end you had a number of different paths you could take, and here was a large area of sunflowers. At the end there are a series of dragonfly sculptures by Mehrdad Tafrisi. These were particularly popular with the children, and they could be purchased from the shop afterwards as well. Although it was not as good as it was earlier in the summer, it was still well worth visiting. With over 20 million seeds planted, the area will be developed as a wildlife sanctuary, and hopefully you'll be able to walk through it again next year. If you enjoyed this, why not watch the previous episodes? And don't forget to subscribe, as new content is put up weekly.